knuckle and crashing or hurting your knees. So try to be as straight as you can as you leave the lip. Notice how my line of entry is almost exactly the same for any backside spin. With frontside off the heels, drop in from the same point. This time, do one toe side setup turn and transfer into a heel side platform on the way up the lip of the jump. Just as you leave the lip, your board should leave in a straight direction, which allows you to travel through the air straight to the middle of the landing. The platform I make with my heel edge is again almost exactly the same for all amounts of rotation. As you're creating the platform, you are carving, which is where you're only using your edge to turn. When carving, you lose very little speed, which is why you can use the same speed or a tiny bit more for a spin as you would for a straight air. Creating a solid platform is critical to spinning, and every good rider does it almost the same. That's why you often see this hourglass shape forming on the lip of big park jumps. Get your edge work right and you'll be able to spin better than you ever expected. Pick where you're going to drop in from. Do one sit-up turn and make a solid platform on the way up the lip, leaving in a straight direction. The second aspect is the setup. Where and how do we set up? On this diagram, the line here is the point of flat ground between the downhill run-in and the uphill lip of the jump. This point of flat ground can be called the setup point. The setup point is an approximate location of where to be completing your setup turn and transferring onto the new edge to set your platform. For a frontside spin, you're finishing up that toe side setup carve and transferring onto your heel edge. The whole way up the lip of the jump, you're holding that heel edge carve. What happens if you set up too early? Watch the line of entry on this diagram to see what happens. If you do a setup turn too far before the setup point, then your platform will also be too early, and you'll end up turning too much while leaving the lip. Two things happen here. You brush off speed when leaving the lip, and you drift off to the side of the landing. It's far more likely that you'll hit the knuckle of the landing and crash. Remember, you want that board to be leaving straight. The setup point varies depending on how big the jump is. It's usually around the point of flat ground where you transfer from your setup turn to your platform. The key thing is that your board leaves the end of the lip straight. It's very common to see people setting up too early. So if you find yourself brushing speed off the lip or drifting to different parts of the landing, then try doing your setup carve closer to the lip. The setup point is also where you're lowest with your knees. When launching off these jumps, I pop evenly off both feet instead of ollieing. So as you ride in, you're tall. Going through the setup point, you're small, and as you're riding up the lip, that's where you start to get tall again by extending your legs and resisting against the jump to create pop out of that lip. Strong pop will help you spin smoother, cleaner, faster, and make you look good. It'll also give you your own line of air, your own trajectory, so you're in control of the jump. The last aspect regarding the setup point is that it's usually the point where you begin to wind up for your spin. Wind up with your arms and shoulders, although it will also help to use your hips and knees.